And with all that being said, we say hello to the athletic director at San Diego State University. He is Jim Sterk, who joins us via the Western Exterminator hotline here on a Tuesday. Hey, Jim, how are you?
Fine, Darren. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Interesting times, as always, up there on the Mesa. Let us start yesterday with the announcement and what's going on with San Diego State football. Tell us a little bit about being the athletic director at the program now and going to the Poinsettia Bowl and the matchup.
Yeah, that was great to be able to announce that and be a part of the Poinsettia Bowl. We were in it 2 years ago, and it was just a great experience for our fans and our players and coaches, and turned into a great game. And I think there's another great matchup here with BYU. And you talked a little bit about history, and there's the coaches, have worked together and have great admiration, and they have a strong program, and our program is certainly on the rise. So it lends itself to a great game. But overall, we're closing out. 2012 year is just it's been remarkable and exciting to be a part of. And three of our programs that you don't hear about finished in the top 10: men's golf, track and field, and women's soccer finished in the top 10 in the country, and we had 9 Mountain West Conference titles. So a lot of good things going on, not just in football and basketball, but a lot of good coaches and great performances by our student athletes.
Always appreciate when you get the plugs in for the other programs. You know that. I love
out on it every time.
You do it every single time. You never disappoint on that front. You talked about your football program, though, and you talked about this season. How unexpected of a season is this?
I didn't know. I felt we had a great shot of going to a record third straight bowl, but I'm unexpected as far as being tied for the conference title. I think they developed, especially midstream, mid league schedule, and continue to develop and get stronger and have a 7-game winning streak. So that I think is just a great finish to the year, and they continue to get better, and that's a tribute to Rocky and his coaches and the dedication of the student athletes as well.
I'm glad you brought up Rocky Long, and he was on the show yesterday, and it was the first time he had been on this program, and I don't know, maybe a year and a half, who knows. But do you feel like not everybody, and by not everybody, I'm probably just looking in the mirror, liked that hire? Not everybody, I don't want to say liked that hire, but not everybody was convinced about that hire. Do you feel like that decision has been validated by this season?
Well, I think it was validated, for me, I last year, and this is a continuation and growing of that. But, when I talked to Rocky about staying, and he had opportunity to go. He had, people trying to hire him away last year and pay him more money. But I think he saw in the program, after being here a year, 2 years with Brady as a defensive coordinator, he saw the potential and the continued growth, and that he could help do that. And he's not a selfish guy and doesn't necessarily like to be in the limelight, but he loves working with kids and loves to develop talent and loves to develop a strong team. And I think he's been able to do that and continue to do that. And I feel really good about that. And he does it in a great way. Those kids, as you can see, they play hard for him. And that's what you want in a coach, that they believe in his leadership, and he does it in the right way, and is a great member of our staff and coaches, and people appreciate him around here as well.
Well, where could he have gone? I mean, what kind of opportunities did he have? Head coaching opportunities or coordinator opportunities?
Right away, Brady tried to hire him. He was my main competition. When I offering him more money than I had, even as a head coach, to go up to Michigan, and then there were others last year that tried to hire him away and offer him more money to go someplace else to be a defensive coordinator. So those things, he's I just really like working for him, and as I said, all the reasons that I stated, that he's dedicated and he wants to continue to develop this program, and he's made the right hires and gotten Adam Hall involved with the strength and conditioning program, and that's very, very important to develop the kids on a daily basis when he can't have that daily contact with them. So all the right moves from him, and he's with the press. He gets a little stiff with you guys, but he is a really great sense of humor, and people just don't get to see that all the time.
Now, wait a minute. Did you say that you work for him? I thought he worked for you.
I didn't say I worked for him, but no, I didn't say that at all.
Oh, okay. We'll have to go back and check the tape on that one. I'm sure you just misspoke on that because, yeah, that's sometimes college football coaches get that reputation that they're really running the whole show.
Yeah, no, that's not the case. No, he's a great team player with the staff and everyone else around here as well.
All right, fair enough. We'll have some fun with that one. Jim Sterk joining us on San Diego Sports Leader XX 1090. So that's good news. What do you think in terms of fan turnout from your alumni base being able to go to the Poinsettia Bowl? I mean, do you expect to sell your full allotment of tickets?
Oh, yeah. I expect in the next day or so we'll be out of our required allotment, but we can continue to get more from the Poinsettia Bowl and have great locations behind our team bench. And we're on the press side, which we normally have as our team bench, so people will be very familiar with where we're at. So I think we're great opportunity to sell a lot of tickets, and I think as Bruce Binkowski, look to this game that have the potential of selling as many or more than we had for a record crowd 2 years ago.
This will be your final game. We think it'll be your final game as a member of the Mountain West Conference. Are you nostalgic at all about exiting the conference here as conference champs and competing in this bowl game?
I think the Mountain West Conference and Rocky has said it. If it stayed the same group as when I came, when Utah, BYU, TCU, and then Boise and others were talking about leaving, and if it had stayed that, I think that it was a great conference that could rival and mature to develop into something that rivaled the Pac-12 in the West, and unfortunately, that hasn't happened, and it's broken apart. And so it is important for us to leave in the right way, and we're doing that in 2012, and want to continue to do that after the first of the year with all the rest of the programs through the winter and spring. But I think we respect the programs that play in the league and some great people that are involved in it, and so we just want to do it the right way.
100% committed to the Big East.
Yes.
The Big East today made, I guess they didn't make the official announcement, but it has been reported that East Carolina and Tulane will join the conference. Tulane will join in all sports. East Carolina will join just in football in the next couple of years. Are those reports accurate that those two programs are going to, in fact, join the Big East? Yeah,
they had their press conferences today, and that's been done. And rumor has it Marty was the one voted in Tulane because she liked to go to New Orleans.
Yes, you are 100% right about that. You must remember the Final Four from this previous year where we were down there broadcasting live.
I heard you guys there. So
there you go.
Yeah, so every other year you can come with us to play in New Orleans.
Are we done? I mean, it doesn't seem to me like the Big East is done, whether it's people moving, whether it's people leaving, whether it's people being added. So where would you say the Big East is today as a football conference?
Yeah, I think one, we have a core base and a national strategy that Mike Oresco is continuing to be a great leader with, and what we can't predict is exactly what ACC is going to do next or someone else, but I don't know. And the best thing we can do to is have a strategy, have a commitment by the programs that are going to stay, and I think we have an opportunity of taking collectively a good group of institutions from Conference USA and Mountain West Conference and making a stronger league together and a stronger league that can perform and has the opportunity to go out and negotiate a TV deal that can help all of us continue to develop our programs overall.
It's a tough question for you to answer, and I just will ask it as somebody who follows the sport and knows that this sort of opinion has been out there about different programs. But do you think that ESPN moves pieces around the board? Do you think that ESPN plays any role in telling different teams which conferences it should align with? Because it's just struck me that the Rutgers move kind of it kind of would have fallen under that category. Do you think that ESPN and that some of these broadcasts, these outlets, that they advise teams which directions they should go?
I don't think there's any question that it plays into the decisions being made, but I think like the Rutgers move, I don't think ESPN is involved in the Big Ten network, and I think that was the driver behind that move, where they were able to then sell their Big Ten network into the Baltimore and New York marketplace and maximize that network. And I think that's what Jim Delaney did. And it was funny this summer I saw Sid Dempsey and at a speaking engagement I had, and we were talking about conference realignment, and he said, Delaney's been quiet, so he says, I think that's scary. He's going to be doing something at some point in time, and he dropped this bombshell kind of out of the blue. People were talking things were going to be settled for a while, and talking a 4 or 5 year, détente, peacetime, and unfortunately he did that reaction, and then there's reaction to that, and then they'll be following, further on down, with individual conferences, and I don't know, how the ACC is going to react to that, and last week it was that they weren't going to take any more action, but this is a new week and something new may come.
Not only the ACC, but don't you also think that the Big 12 is going to have to move at some point?
Well, they don't have to, and I think that's, they don't have to. They've negotiated their TV deal, and that's locked in, and I don't think they want to share their revenue with people, and what I'm hearing is they're fine and not going to do anything, but as I said, that can change, in a day or a week or whatever, but I don't think they have to do anything.
It seems to me, Jim, tell me if you agree or disagree with this. It seems to me that we're all moving towards the super conferences, right? The 16, 18 team super conferences. It might not be next year. It might not be the year after that. But at some point, while you and I are both still in upright, it's going to be super conferences in college football, isn't it?
Yeah, and I worked for a guy. Actually, I worked at Tulane for Kevin, and Kevin White was the athletics director. He went on to Arizona State and Notre Dame, and now at Duke. But he at that time in the 90s, he was talking about it. How the banking industry, they were growing to larger institutions, and now there's still more local banks that can service people, better and quicker and more nimble, but there's mega institutions, and he saw college athletics moving in that direction, and he was prophetic, and it's continuing to do that.
The moves that you make as athletic director today at San Diego State are the moves made with the idea that somewhere down the road the goal is to end up in one of those super conferences?
Correct. I think we want to compete at the highest level, and we think we have the opportunity to be regionally and nationally competitive, but we're not going to sell our souls to do that, and try to be thoughtful. And we have a great leader in Elliot Hirschman, and he's smart, and he's talking to the presidents of our conference and what we're going to do. But we want to be. We think we can do that, and I think because of the locale, the city, where we're at in Southern California, hotbed for getting quality student athletes, to come, good quality, public education and private education in the high schools, that we can develop our programs and have very competitive intercollegiate programs. And so where that ends up, I don't know, but we're San Diego State has grown over time, and I think we have the opportunity to continue to grow.
And you still feel like with that idea, with that being the carrot at the end of the stick, that it's still the best strategy to end up, to increase the probability of ending up in one of those super conferences, it's still a smarter strategy to go through the Big East than it would be to remain competitive and winning in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, and the other side of it too is the financial, and over the past 3 years, and I came here, it was we were $3 million in debt. We're in the process of reducing our staff by 25 full-time people and 12 part-time, and since that time we've dug out of that financial hole, but we're continuing to face from that time when I was here and what the budgets were projected. State support has dropped almost. It's almost a $4 million drop, going on $3 million plus, and scholarships have risen by about $2 million during that time. So both of those things, you're talking about a $5 million swing in our finances in just like 4 years, and that's a tough thing for us to be able to, finance the programs, not be a burden to the institution, and have competitive programs. And so we have to continue to grow and develop and raise our programs so that the softballs of the world can be regionally and nationally competitive and go, and the soccers that don't have the opportunity to raise the revenue that football does, that we have the opportunity to do that in that program. And so it's not for football. It's more for the rest of the programs in the 18 programs that we have here.
Right, because football has to float the bill.
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
Yeah,
because with Title IX and everything else, as longtime college fans will understand. Last thing I have for you, Jim, would just be, I know you came on and talked about the move to the Big East and that you guys had hired media consultants and you guys had business models planned out about how much more money you could make by going to the Big East. That's not the same Big East that we're talking about today. Do you think that you will take a significant hit in terms of the available finances when you do eventually get this television deal? Do you think that the dollars are going to be dramatically different than what your initial models and blueprints told you?
I don't think dramatically. I think, at the time we did that, we knew there was potential. There was rumors, of defections and changes and things like that. And I think the model that the Big East drew up and Mike Oresco is executing is very attractive, and I think there's a place for it, and there's a demand for that. And so where that falls, I don't know. It's probably impacted some. How much, I don't know. But I think he's continuing to make moves and involved with those negotiations so that he's going to maximize the opportunity that we have in the Big East football to generate as much for our programs as he can.
Well, Jim, I appreciate the time as always. I know we didn't get to basketball, but we'll talk with Brian Dutcher about that tomorrow. We're giving away tickets to the Wooden Classic. I think about 1,000 tickets remain. Congratulations on where the Aztecs are in hoops. Congratulations on the Poinsettia Bowl bid. And congratulations to golf, track and field, and women's soccer as well, so we can get that out there one more time.
Thank you, so I don't have to say that.
I know. Usually you try to, we keep you for 18 minutes. You might as well get it in twice.
You're a quick learner.
I got to do what I got to do. I know where the bread is buttered around here. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Darren.
Jim Sterk, Athletic Director at San Diego